But Wellspring, I'm glad that you guys are here for week 3 of our series, All You Want for Christmas. I was actually talking to my daughters this week about what we've been talking about in church here for the past few weeks, and they heard the name of the series, All You Want for Christmas, and a controversy arose among them. One of them instantly shouted, when I said, yeah, we're in this series, All You Want for Christmas, one of them instantly shouted, my 2 front teeth. That's all I want for Christmas. And honestly, it had not even occurred to me that that was a song, All I Want for Christmas is my 2 front teeth. All I was thinking about was Mariah Carey. And it's none of your business how often I think about Mariah Carey, but that's what I was thinking about when we were naming the series. And so my daughter instantly says, my 2 front teeth. And then my other daughter says, not so fast, I want a hippopotamus. And this was a real interaction. And I was just trying to talk to them about the Lord, and they're wanting to fight about their 2 front teeth and a hippopotamus. So I did what any normal person would do. I pulled up an AI chatbot, and I said, hey, give me a pros and cons list of what would be better for Christmas, either your 2 front teeth or a hippopotamus. And this is what I got back. So there's a pros for your 2 front teeth is that they're compact, they're useful for biting, smiling, and eating, and it's super practical. And by the way, if you don't know what a thoughtful gift, if you can't come up with a thoughtful gift for someone, a practical gift is the way to go. I make that mistake all the time. I'm attempting a thoughtful gift, and you just see it, and they're like, oh, thanks. You know what I mean? Have you ever tried to give a thoughtful gift and it just not land? That's me all the time. So just go practical is my advice to you, but it's super practical, low maintenance, 2 front teeth, typically pretty low maintenance. It fits in any stocking. The cons that they give is that you probably already had them, and so it's not really a gift unless you're replacing the ones that you have, and no one's really a big fan of dental work for Christmas. But where it got really good was the pros and cons list for a hippopotamus. I was like, tell me a pros and cons for it. They said it's massive, it's unique, it's bound to be the talk of Christmas. Like imagine the Instagram post of, oh, I got a hippopotamus for Christmas, real life. The cons list got pretty dark. It said it's huge, it's hard to feed. Good luck getting it through the front door. It might also eat your Christmas tree. And then there's this little tip. It said also, it might kill you because a hippopotamus is one of the most dangerous animals on the planet, killing over 500 people a year. Wow, thanks, Grok. That's what I was like, that's way to go dark, right? So he said, I'd pick your 2 front teeth. It's more practical and less of a chance of wrecking your living room and tragically ruining Christmas. So if you're wondering, which gift would be better? It's definitely your 2 front teeth over a hippopotamus. But I started this series asking you guys a question. What, if you could have anything for Christmas, what would it be? If you could have anything for Christmas, what would it be? And maybe your mind goes to a new gadget or maybe the latest trend that you see going on out there. Or maybe it goes to something deeper. Like, man, for Christmas, I would love a full and happy home. I would love peace in our hearts and in our homes, hope for our circumstances and for the future. This time of year seems to be difficult for many people, and often with even though there's all kinds of holiday activities, all kinds of nostalgia and entertainment and all the expectation, many of us go through this series with a sense that something is missing. There's just something maybe I'm missing out on this Christmas. Maybe not from under the tree, maybe not from around the table, but something in us is what we're longing for. Something in us seems to be missing this time of year. And a few weeks ago, for the past few weeks, we looked at the gifts that Jesus received from the Magi, the wise men. And as we've considered the symbolism in these gifts that Jesus has received in this passage, hopefully it's revealed something deeper, some deeper meaning in us. We looked at gold and frankincense, gold being the gift that you give to a king. Remember, that's who the Magi had traveled to see, this newborn king. And if Jesus is king, not just of Israel, not just king of the universe, but king of my heart, king in my life. If Jesus is my king, that's a gift to me. That's a gift to you. Jesus being king gives me peace. It gives us peace. Instead of fighting for peace at someone else's expense, I can find peace gifted to me at his expense. So there was gold, and then we looked at frankincense, which is used as an offering to God, which, by the way, I got frankincense randomly in the mail. So if somebody gifted me frankincense, thanks. It does kind of smell sweet. It's kind of okay. So I did get some frankincense in the mail. It's used as an offering to God. And the Magi didn't just want to see this newborn king, but they followed a star in the sky to come and worship him. Like if God declared in the heavens, if he laid out the universe to declare the birth of Jesus, then my problems, my worries, my pain isn't too large for him to lead and love me, his child, through those things, right? Like Jesus being God gives me hope. Jesus being king gives me peace. And there's one more gift that Jesus received from the Magi that I want us to take a look together. If you have your Bibles, and I hope you do, we're going to be back in Matthew chapter number 2, and we're going to go ahead and start reading in verse number 1. You say, man, we've read this passage the past 2 weeks. Yeah, we're going to read it again. It's fine. If you want to read other passages, you got all week long to read the Bible. It's available to you all the time. So Matthew chapter number 2, verse 1 says, after Jesus was born in Bethlehem in Judea, during the time of King Herod, Magi from the east came to Jerusalem. And they asked, where is the one who has been born King of the Jews? We saw his star when it rose, and we've come to worship him. When King Herod, heard this, he was disturbed, and all of Jerusalem with him. When he had called together all the people's chief priests and teachers of the law, watch this, he asked them where the Messiah was to be born. In Bethlehem in Judea, they replied. For this is what the prophet has written. But you, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are by no means least among the rulers of Judah. For out of you will come a ruler who will shepherd my people Israel. So watch this conclusion that Herod and the chief priests jumped to as soon as the Magi came into town. You have Herod along with the chief priests and the teachers of the law. They all pause with this visit from the Magi just to wonder, is this the moment we've been waiting for? The question that he asks is, hey, when and where is the Messiah supposed to be born? They pause and they wonder, is this the moment we've been waiting for? From the garden, they've been waiting a long time. Remember, Adam and Eve disobey God, and the curse of sin enters the world, and God goes to the serpent, and he promises he will crush your head, but you will strike his heel. This is the first time when we're reading the scriptures. The fancy word for it is called the proto-evangelium, if you want to go to seminary. I can't spell it, but I know how to say it. So it's the first time we see in the scriptures the promise of a Messiah, the promise of redemption from this curse of sin. And so from that moment, generation after generation, there was this hope that was passed down. So you get the picture of what's happening here in this story. Generation after generation, this hope has been passed down that the anointed one from God, that's what the word Messiah means, the anointed one from God, a Redeemer King whose work, as far as the curse is found, like we sung a second ago, his work would reach everywhere sin's curse had spread, to the ends of the earth, reversing the effects of sin and sorrow on humanity and creation, the things that we experience in life, that this hope, that this Messiah, this anointed one from God would come and reverse all of that. This Messiah would offer a cure for all of our brokenness, for all of our fallenness, for death and pain introduced by Adam's sin, promising this complete restoration. That's what the promise is. That's what they've been that's what they've been waiting for, this restoration of God's creation. And at this announcement from the Magi, we saw the star, we want to find this king and worship him. From this announcement, even the wicked King Herod pauses to wonder, could this be the moment that we've been waiting for? Like, is this the moment? These men coming from far east, saying that there's a king in Israel written in the stars, is this the moment we've been waiting for? And I wonder if you can relate to that feeling. Have you ever waited for something And maybe you feel like you've waited so long, you even doubted if things would or could change for you. I don't know if you've ever been there. You've suddenly, maybe you see a glimmer of hope that makes you wonder, this could be the moment. Maybe this is the moment I've been waiting for. Maybe this is the moment where there could be a new start, something brand new, the beginning of real change and real life that you've longed for. Like I've been there. I think if you've lived for a minute, you know the feeling I'm talking about. I think it's part of our human experience, waiting and longing for some opportunity, something to change, and we see something and go, is this it? Is this the moment this situation turns around? Is this the moment this turns around in my family? Is this the moment this turns around in my career? Is this the moment that this turns around in my heart and I just stop feeling this way, or I can see something brand new? Like don't make the mistake that Herod makes. It's wild. His focus is all about how he can take advantage of what is happening. How can this benefit me? That's his thought. That's how he frames this whole thing. And I can't tell you how many times I've gotten in my own way, just like Herod does here in the story. I can't tell you how many times I've let my own greed or my own selfishness or my own desire to try to be in control, and it's sabotaged my situation. It's sabotaged my life. It's sabotaged different points, even in my career. Like all of us have experienced this. When I was on the verge of peace, I've blown it. I don't know if you can relate. You're like, man, it's right there. And I opened my mouth and I ruined it. All my greed got in the way. All my selfishness got in the way. I was on the verge of seeing hope. This could finally change for me and come to life. And I stepped in the way. I opened my mouth. I made a stupid choice. I wanted my way and I blew it. Like what's wild about this is when Herod does this, in this story, when I do this in my life, when you do it in your life, we're unable to enjoy, first, the most thrilling part of this season. Like the most thrilling part of the Christmas season, when we're living in our own selfishness, when we get in our way, when we sabotage our own self. Like when that happens, we're not able to enjoy the most thrilling part of this series or this season or life in general. And I want you to watch this next part in verse number 7. When Herod called the Magi secretly and found out from them the exact time the star had appeared, he sent them to Bethlehem and said, "Go and search carefully for the child. As soon as you find him, report to me so that I too may go and worship him." And remember, we know that his plan isn't to go and worship him. In the following verses after the passage that we're going to read today, Herod makes a plan to kill every single child because he just wants this thing to benefit himself. Right? Verse number 9. After they had heard the king, they went on their way, and the star they had seen when it rose went ahead of them until it stopped over the place where the child was. When they saw the star, mark this, they were overjoyed. On coming to the house, they saw the child with his mother Mary, and they bowed down and worshiped him. Then they opened their treasures and presented him with gifts, gold, frankincense, and myrrh. The gifts that Jesus received were gold and frankincense and myrrh. And I've said before, we've said that even this morning, gold is a gift for a king. Frankincense is a gift to God. But like, what is myrrh and what is it for, right? I'm glad you asked. Myrrh is a gum resin from a thorny, shrubby tree that's found in that part of the world. It's called a commiphora tree. And myrrh has a very specific use that sets it apart from all of these gifts and all kinds of other little resins and things like that that existed in that part of the world. Myrrh is for natural preserving. It's natural preservation, and specifically for the embalming of a body. Like that's what myrrh is used for. And that is a strange gift to get for Christmas. That's pretty ominous gift. Imagine just for a second if you're at an office Christmas party and one of the old foreign guys shows up with a jug of embalming fluid and just gives it to you, you know, and it comes with a little Christmas card that says, "Merry Christmas, you're going to need this," right? You're like, "Oh, okay, this isn't my favorite experience right now. Like, what's going on here?" It's a pretty wild thing to give as a gift to anyone, much less a baby. Why give Jesus this gift? Because myrrh is a specific gift with a specific purpose for a specific person, the anointed Savior of the world. Like, that's what that gift is for. That's who that gift is for. From the very beginning, not just of the Christmas story, not just of the Hebrew scriptures, Jesus has this title given to him in the scriptures. Jesus is the Lamb of God, slain before the foundation of the world. From before the beginning, Jesus was the King that brings peace. From before the beginning, Jesus was the God that brings hope. Before the beginning, Jesus was the Savior that brings joy. That's who he is. Like the cross is as much a part of Christmas as it is Easter. Like the cross has always been present in the Christmas story. It's always was present in the life of ministry of Jesus, and it's always been present in the church as people like you and I have been rescued and saved from the curse of sin because the sacrifice of our King, the anointed one, sent as a sacrifice to die on the cross to give you and I life. Like Jesus being king gives me peace. Why? Because it calms the chaos that exists in me. Man, when I'm left to choosing my own way, doing everything for myself, wanting to appear important, and that's how I live my life, I can tell you every time I've done that, it's created chaos in me and around me. And if Jesus is my king, he gives me peace, a voice to follow, a shepherd to guide me. That's what happens if Jesus is my king. Jesus being God gives me hope. Why does Jesus being God gives me hope? Because when I read the Old Testament, a lot of it is, hey, you break the rules and you're dead, period. That's how it goes. There's not a whole lot of hope when you read in the Old Testament. There's just a whole lot of judgment. There's a whole lot of don't do this. If you do this, then this is your punishment. And then all of a sudden, Jesus comes on the scene and Jesus says, come to me, all who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Like if you want to know what God looks like, what God is like, look at Jesus. Like if Jesus is God, then that gives me hope. If Jesus being the Savior, Jesus being my Savior, it gives me joy. Why? Because I'm forgiven and I'm free. Like that's not just something that we sing about. That's not just something that we talk about on Sunday. That's a reality that I can walk in every single day that ends in why. I'm forgiven and I'm free because Jesus is my Savior. And that gives me joy, like real joy. Let me ask you this question. How joyful are you? This time of year, we sing lots of songs that have joy in it. I'm not going to sing them now. I was tempted to. But there's lots of songs right now that have joy in it. How joyful are you? And you might sit there and go, I think I'm pretty joyful. I'm a pretty joyful guy. But if I asked your three closest friends, the three people closest to you, to use three words to describe you, would joy be among them? Like, would joy be one of those words? Joyful. Would that be one of those words that the three closest people to you, if they had three words to describe you, would they choose joyful? If I'm being honest, I don't know if I'd even get a synonym for joy. Like, not even close. And that bothers me. Like, that bothers me, man. Not just because I want joy, because I'm convinced that the hallmark of a life with Christ and the banner over Christmas is joy. Like, man, that's a hallmark of following Christ. Is, man, that person has joy. What we sing about again and again and again and again during the Christmas season is joy. It comes up over and over and over again. How joyful are you? Man, I'm convinced that this is a hallmark. This is what you and I, if we're Christ followers, this should be in us, leaking out of us. It's like, man, then why don't I live that way? Why don't I experience that all the time? Like, I'm convinced that joy is something that you and I should have all the time. You say, well, why are you convinced of that? And why should I be convinced of it? For this one reason. Joy is what motivated Jesus. When you look at the life of Jesus, joy is what motivated Jesus. When I look at Jesus going to the cross, joy is what motivated Jesus, even to the cross, to be the Savior of the world. The thing that motivated Jesus was joy. Look at Hebrews chapter number 12 and verse 2. It's a really popular verse. It's one of my favorite ones. It says, fixing our eyes on Jesus, the pioneer and the perfecter of faith, for the joy set before him. He endured the cross, scorning its shame, and sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. It was joy that motivated Jesus. Joy that motivated Jesus, not just to live the life that he lived, but to die the death that he died for you and I. Joy was his motivator. And hear me, like, I know I'm not saying anything brand new. It's like, oh man, a Christmas sermon about joy. I've never heard this before. Like, most of us don't need to be taught. We just need to be reminded, right? Most of you out there, you don't need to be taught something brand new. You just need to be reminded of something that you know, that Christmas is full of joy, and so should our lives be full of joy. That doesn't mean that there's not going to be any anxiety or pain. Like, don't get that wrong. Like, there's some sort of like joy erases all of your anxiety and all of your pain. People get that wrong all the time. It's like grace doesn't erase guilt. By the way, I know sometimes we feel like grace isn't working because like I feel guilty. Grace doesn't erase guilt. Grace is just always there. So when guilt rises up in you, grace didn't go anywhere. So when that guilt leaves you, grace has been there the whole time. Like a lot of times when we feel guilty, we feel like, oh man, despair sets in. Am I loved by God? I've let him down. I'm a disgrace. Shame starts to come in. Like, man, the beautiful promise of grace is that it never leaves you. It's there in the background all the time. And guilt doesn't last. Guilt comes and goes, and grace is there the whole time. Joy is the same thing. Like, joy doesn't erase your anxiety or your pain, but joy is in the background the entire time. So when anxiety comes, when pain comes, it's not that, oh no, anxiety and pain has erased my joy, or oh no, I can't have joy right now because anxiety and pain are here. No, joy is there in the background the entire time. Like, you don't think that on that cold night that Mary gives birth in a barn, there isn't any anxiety or pain? I know all the pictures that we see, she's just like really joyful, and there's like the little glowing baby, you know, a radioactive baby Jesus is there. Like, and we think like, oh man, there's no anxiety or pain. You're out of your mind. Of course there was. Of course they're filled with anxiety. They're filled with pain. Of course that's happening. Of course it's there. But in the middle of all of it, there's joy because the Savior of the world is here. That's what this message of joy is at Christmas time. Not that there's no anxiety and no pain in your life ever. It's that it never leaves you. Of course there's pain. Of course there's anxiety. But joy is there also. You don't think the Magi who traveled for months to see Jesus being born here, following the star, you don't think there was any anxiety there? Going like, man, I really hope we picked the right star here. I hope we're not wasting all of our time. You don't think there's any anxiety or any pain in that? Of course there was. But in the middle of all of that, there was joy. Imagine as they finally arrive, as they finally get to where the star is, and they do what this verse says, they fix their eyes on him. The scripture that we read in Matthew said that they were overjoyed. Like, your life is not going to be free from anxiety and pain. It's just not. This season is not going to be free of anxiety and pain. Of course there will be. Of course there will be. But in the middle of all of it, in the background, maybe even singing over all of your circumstances, all of your situation, maybe singing over your anxiety and your pain, your worry and your fear, maybe singing over all of that is joy. Of course there will be. Why? Because Jesus is my Savior, man. Like, he stepped into history at the worst time in history to set his people free. It's what his name means. Like, man, I can get so carried away with things that I'm distracted by. Whether it's the busyness of the holidays or nostalgia or all the things that we love about Christmas, but I also kind of hate about Christmas. Like all that stuff can be creeping in and swirling in my mind and in my heart, and I miss the fact that, like, man, my Savior is here. We sing about joy, but it's not in me. It's like, man, I want to see it. I want to hear it. I want to find it and hold on to it. And it doesn't mean that, like, oh, no, I'll be free of anxiety and pain. No, of course not. It just means I'll have this joy. So much joy. Because of Christ, I'm forgiven. You're forgiven because of Christ. Because of Christ, you're free. Because of Christ, you're loved. Because of Christ, you belong. Because of Christ, you're held, you're secure. Like, because of Christ, you're healed. Fix your eyes on him. Like, that's where joy comes from. That's why they were overjoyed. Because these magi traveled all this way, and they finally saw him. That's how Mary, even in the middle of anxiety and pain, giving birth in a barn, could still have so much joy. Because the Savior was here, because I could fix my eyes on him. I'm going to ask Jamie to come up. With your heads bowed and your eyes closed, when you hear the Christmas story, I've read it to you 3 times, or at least a portion of it for the past 3 weekends. I'm sure you hear it in songs. You see it on Christmas cards. It's posted probably all over your Facebook, your social media, whatever you're looking at. Like, when you hear the Christmas story, when you see the baby in the manger, what do you see? Like, what is it that you see? Is it a king who gives you peace? Is it a God who gives you hope? Is it a Savior who gives you joy? Man, it should be. If not, I want to encourage you, fix your eyes on him. Just take a minute. I know we sing Christmas carols and we do that kind of thing, and there's this nostalgic factor in it, but, like, man, sit back and take it in. The King of the universe, born in a barn to set his people free. Live a life that I could never live. Die a death in my place to set me free. I always ask us to do a couple things. The first one is commit to following Jesus. If you're going to follow him, you got to see him. If you can't see him, you can't follow him. Maybe there's a lot of distractions in your way. Maybe you have a lot of ideas about it. And it's not peace or hope or joy. It's not him being the king, being God, being your Savior. Man, see him. Fix your eyes on him. See yourself. One of the most freeing things, it's wild. It's upside down sometimes how God works. One of the most freeing things is when I see that I need him. You say, how is that freeing? Because he's always there. Because when anxiety or pain shows up, he never leaves. And it's seeing him, being forgiven, coming alive. Commit to follow him. There's little ways that you can do this. I don't know, Christmas morning is coming up. Maybe at Christmas time you read the Christmas story. Maybe that's something new that you do as a family. Just maybe even by yourself. I want to sit. I want to quiet my heart, and I want to read. I want to see him, this Savior, King of the universe, my Savior, born for me. Commit to being changed by Jesus. Look, your life or your perspective isn't going to change because you try real hard. That's not how that works. But it's seeing. Like, man, when you see Jesus for who he is, when you see him as your King, your God, your Savior, it's that perspective that changes you, not your white knuckling. I really want joy this time of year. It's not how you get it. It comes from seeing him, fixing your eyes on him. Commit to the mission of Jesus. The mission of Jesus when he came was to seek and to save that which was lost. You go, how do I do that? There's going to be opportunities, even today, for you to choose joy, to live full of joy. Even in the midst of your anxiety, even in the middle of your pain, you can choose joy. I want to be joyful. And the wild thing about that is it's infectious. You get around someone and they have real joy, or they have real peace, or they have real hope, and you have access to that because of Jesus, because of Christmas. Jesus, we love you. And we're grateful that when we look at this big story, this story that's been told and retold and passed down, this story that began even in the garden, that was passed down generation after generation after generation, where people wondered, is this our moment? Is this the moment we've been waiting for? God, we can look back and see you stepped into history to rescue your people. And then you died on a cross to bring me into your family, to make me your people. God, we're grateful for that. Through the noise, through our anxiety, through our pain, cut all through that. God, let us see joy. Let us see peace. Let us see hope. Help us to fix our eyes on you. Thank you for loving us. Make that love come alive in me today. In Jesus' name, amen and amen. You guys stand and worship with me.